Hey everybody, welcome to the Always Out of Market podcast, week 16. Woo! Merry fucking Christmas. Sorry for cursing immediately again, Dad, but what can I do? We,
Demonetized.
we've had as y'all can probably tell by my cheery, jolly demeanor, not just Christmas, but also a good week for Ryan. We've had a finally out of my funk, the football funk I've been in for the past months. That's about me. That's all that really matters is me. We've had some exciting games this week, though. We have some exciting games hopefully coming up this upcoming week. And three of us right now are going to go to the fucking NFL Seahawks Titans game tomorrow in real life. So if you're going to be there, find us. And then don't say anything, just stare directly at us.
Yes.
And then we'll sign autographs because I know there'll be lots of y'all flocking to us, all dozen of you. Yeah, today I'm joined with my usual host. We got almost the whole crew here. Got me, Ryan. We got on one of my directions, Jason, the small boy in his little camera right now. We have old Matty Matthew, is what we call him. Old Steve.
I am old.
Yeah, the resident 30 in his 30s person. All of us are in our 20s except for old Steve. So
and then
and then old profile picture Tyler joining us again.
Woot woot.
Yeah, so start off like as usual. Probably start off with some news. Not much news this week, I don't think. But Jason, take it away.
Yeah, there's not anything really to talk about this week. I've got a couple of bullet points. We'll start with the Colts. They suspended 2 players for the rest of the regular season, being wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie and corner Tony Brown for what they said is conduct detrimental to the team. So not really sure what's going on in the locker room there, but I mean I would say that's a big loss for the Colts to lose Isaiah McKenzie, at least. I don't really know about Tony Brown. I don't know how good he is, but
especially with the Colts making a push for the playoffs.
Yeah, no, they're
right there.
They would make the playoffs if the season ended right now. So, I mean, we'll see how they can rebound. Josh Downs had to do a lot of work.
Yeah. I think obviously things have changed a little bit since our midseason awards. Quite a few things actually, but I think Shane Steichen could be in the conversation for Coach of the Year the way they've been playing. So, but it depends on how they're going to finish out with these last couple of weeks, especially being down a few players.
Yeah, it's all about how you finish, and I think if they don't make the playoffs, then he's not going to win Coach of the Year. And I think the same thing is said for D'Amico Ryans as well. If they don't make the playoffs, he's not going to win it. And then my second and final bullet point is a little long-winded. I went into a little bit of detail with it because it's a very odd thing that has happened. Aaron Rodgers was activated off of IR, even though he has no plan of actually playing this year, which means the Jets had to make room for him. So they cut their fullback, Nick Bawden, to make room for him. And then the Jets then re-signed him 2 days later after a lot of pushback from fans around the league saying that was a stupid thing to do because Rodgers isn't going to play. And then in turn, they had to cut somebody off their practice squad, and they cut a corner named Kalen Barnes to make room for Nick Bawden. So a very odd thing for the Jets to do. I'm not sure why they decided to activate Aaron Rodgers if he's not going to actually play.
I'm kind of tired of hearing about Aaron Rodgers at this point. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, no, I am too. But I had to put it in there because it was such a weird thing for them to do.
Yeah.
So
it's been always, ooh, when's he gonna come back? Oh, he's got a miracle recovery. He's over on the sidelines practicing and shit. So, I guess since they want him to, they have that like practice window, right? There's like the 21-day window. So I'm sure it had something to do with that, and they want him still to be there, and because I guess him being there is a morale booster for the Jets. I don't know why they'd care at this point. They're eliminated from playoffs, and it's just weird. But yeah, I hate that the fullback went through all that just to make a spot for him who's not going to play. Imagine, obviously it sounds like they re-signed him, but imagine being that guy, being told, hey, you're going to get cut from the team so that we can have somebody just sit on the bench the rest of the time. It's just,
Yeah.
it sucks.
And I saw
I don't think that guy I don't think he played very often anyway. So
I also saw he already made like 80% of his yearly salary this year, so he wasn't gonna miss out on like a ton of money. I mean, it was still a lot of money. It was like 200 grand, but he'd already made most of his money this season already. And Matthew's right; he doesn't really play a whole lot, so it's
I
not.
didn't even know the Jets had a fullback.
I mean, I think pretty much every team has a fullback. They just never use them.
I don't know. I don't feel like most teams have them anymore. There's a few.
I think
you have to have one on your roster.
I think
even
they
if they
just use them
don't
to
play, I
block.
think you have to have one.
I think they just use them to block. Honestly, for most teams.
See, I know a lot of teams will use like a running back on their roster in a fullback type role sometimes. But like, I don't think if you look up like the Titans depth chart, I don't think we have a fullback anymore. We used to.
We don't have a fullback on our depth chart either.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
FB, there's no. Oh, never mind. We do. He was not by the RB. Nick Ballore. Whoever the hell that is.
now, I know obviously the Dolphins have Ingold, and then like the Ravens have what is his name, Ricard or something like that. Mm-hmm. So there are players. It's just I don't feel like the fullback is kind of one of those dying positions in in football.
Look, Nick Ballore, he is a linebacker, but he's our fullback.
Yeah. See, again, they have roles that they can.
Because I look and it's showing his stats as tackles. He's got 12 tackles this year, but he's also our starting fullback.
Yeah,
I think he's a special teams person.
I think Jeffrey Simmons might be considered our fullback. They use him sometimes on offense, and they've used him that way. So anyway, yeah. But back to it. I'll just end it on saying that, man, just stop talking about Aaron Rodgers. He literally played 4 plays and was out for the whole season. We've been talking about him all fucking season. It's over. Let's move on to next year.
No, they gotta milk that cow as far as it goes. Steven, y'all don't have a fullback on your roster.
That's what I'm saying. We don't. But I'm saying we use Jeffrey Simmons in the fullback role sometimes when they have him as like an eligible receiver and all that shit. Yeah. So that's technically lining up in like a fullback position sometimes. So
that's really it for news. So we can move on to, I believe, fantasy is the next thing we're going to go to.
Real quick, I just saw that Trevor Lawrence cleared concussion protocol.
Yeah, I have him in fantasy in my other leagues. That's good.
He's traveling with the team, so he might actually play.
Good to know, because I was on the fence about changing my pick because I didn't know if he was going to play.
And the Jets are starting Trevor Siemian.
Yep.
I know we're probably ready to move on from it, but I was just curious, so I looked through. Jason, y'all are the only team out of the podcast teams that actually has a fullback position with an actual fullback in that position. The Packers don't have a fullback. The Titans don't have a fullback.
Michael Burton, right?
Michael Burton, yep. The Seahawks have a linebacker in that position, and then the Packers and Titans don't even have a fullback position.
And guess what? We actually use.
We did for a long time, but then John Kuhn retired. So,
we actually use our fullback. Beast! You should get his jersey.
Ooh.
I mean, all I remember is fucking Kyle Juice Check or whatever the hell his name is.
Juicy Check.
Yeah.
I draft him in Madden in our fantasy drafts.
Oh, nice.
Every single time, because no one ever drafts fullbacks. So.
All right.
But yeah, Steven, it's your turn to take over for the rest of the podcast.
Sort of. Yeah.
We're not going to talk. It's Steven's time to talk. We all just stare at him. Let's go.
All right. Well, let's look at fantasy, guys. So we've got the first matchup, which of course is the 1 seed versus the 4 seed in our playoffs. We've got me versus Jason. Jason being the 1 seed. And right now, I'm technically ahead.
Upset alert. You're also projected to beat me by 10 points.
One thing that helped me immensely last week, because of course it's a 2-week thing. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb did not do well. CeeDee Lamb still did pretty decent, but Dak Prescott did not do good last week. So that helped me a lot.
Go to the previous week. It's right up there. NFL Week 15, right under your name.
You can go back to the scoreboard.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, Dak only got 6 points last week, and I mean, he's really the only one who like really underperformed for me.
Yeah. Kyron Williams, I'm so glad he's back. So glad he's back. Kyron Williams has been my most reliable running back as of late. And then you'll see here I played Matthew Stafford last week because after we recorded the podcast, there was the whole situation with Jalen Hurts being sick, and I wasn't sure what he was going to look like. And of course, he played, and go figure, he did outscore Matthew Stafford. But Matthew Stafford still gave me like 18 points, so I can't complain about it. But overall, and I literally just picked up Matthew Stafford and dropped him again. But turns out I probably should have kept him this week too. But
Also, if you want to go back to the current week, I am fucked. Basically, Jamar Chase and Keenan Allen are out this week.
look,
So my top 2 receivers are out in the fucking playoffs.
yeah, Jason, I can relate because I also have Jamar Chase and Keenan Allen in my other league, so I can
And you
totally relate.
also didn't start Olave.
I didn't start Olave. Yeah, I was
Like a
talking about
trade,
that before.
Steven.
Huh?
That's a really good trade this year, Steven.
All right. Well, anyway, so Olave played really good. I'm glad he finally decided to outplay Alvin Kamara when he's on my bench because Alvin Kamara only gave you 8.5, and then of course we both only had one player play already, being Alvin Kamara, and then I had Kyron Williams. And so I was a little annoyed because Kyron Williams put up a lot of points, and then they benched him for a while to let the other running backs play. And I'm like, no, put him back in. What are you doing? But-
Also, I called Steven out on it before we started recording, but he picked up Rashee Rice this week on waivers. I also put in a claim for him, and he's not even putting him on his starting lineup.
I picked up Rashee Rice as a potential replacement for Tyreek Hill because he's once again questionable, because he's been questionable ever since the Titans hurt him. So go figure that my own team betrayed me a little bit. But
Basically, my season lies on the games that are today, which is Saturday, because I have T. Higgins and Joe Mixon and James Cook playing today.
Is there a game right now?
No,
they start at 3:30.
Yeah, at 3:30. So
I just think even if you hadn't traded with Tyler, you could have had Puka Nacua get 33 points for you already this week.
yeah, but literally Puka Nacua the last 3 weeks before that didn't put up many points. So
yeah, and he started doing it right after you traded him.
Saw that Puka Nacua only needs 178 yards to break the rookie receiving record.
yeah,
And he probably will do it.
He definitely deserves a offensive rookie of the year, I think.
Oh yeah,
Since CJ Stroud got injured.
Yeah, I think I want to see what CJ Stroud looks like when he comes back. He's missing this week too because of concussion protocol and all that, but depending on how he finishes out the season, and especially if they make the playoffs, I think he'll have it. But thing with Puka Nacua is just I was getting frustrated trying to figure out if Matthew Stafford was going to throw to him or Cooper Kupp, because it's it was always one or the other. And of course this week Puka Nacua got all of it. I think only Cooper Kupp got maybe 10 points this week.
He got 10.9.
Yeah, and then Puka Nacua got 33. So it's just it depends on who's covering who for the Rams. It seems.
Well,
like.
Kupp had a lot of drops too on Thursday.
He did. All right. Well, we'll see how this goes, but it'd be a crazy thing for me to upset Jason.
Not that crazy.
Now,
you have a good team.
Now
you've been saying since week 4, your team is awful. You've had one of the best teams in our league easily, but you've been talking about how bad it is,
well,
and it's not been bad since week 2.
since
All
you
right.
got everybody off the waiver wire that was good.
Going 0-3 worked out, I guess. All right, so let's move on to the other matchup. Matthew, I'm sorry. It's quite a hill to climb.
This was everybody on his team, but his defense got 20+ points.
It was ridiculous looking last week. So yeah,
Christian McCaffrey had 40.
Reminder that I had the choice at the draft. I was between picking Christian McCaffrey or Austin Eckler. Man, did I pick wrong. I was worried about McCaffrey getting hurt, and they were talking about Kyle Shanahan said that we're going to limit McCaffrey. That was total bullshit. They haven't limited McCaffrey at all. So, and then Eckler got hurt, and then when he's come back, he's been outplayed by his other 2 running backs. So, big mistake.
My team didn't even play bad either. That's the thing.
No,
It's just that his team played fucking lights out.
no, yeah. Josh Allen was his basically one player that was under 20, and then of course his defense didn't do great. But then, yeah.
If you have a player get 40 points, you win. You win that week.
Yeah, Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp did well that week. So
Sam Laporta had 3 touchdowns.
Sam Laporta had 3.
Travis Kelce fucking sucks. I just want to throw that out there too. Just like lob that one. He's garbage. Washed.
All
He's
right.
definitely underperformed this year. That's for sure.
Who?
Travis Kelce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he has not been good as of late, and so of course, all the receivers, and of course Travis Kelce as a tight end receiver, have been just so bad for the Chiefs this year, except for Rashee Rice, which is why he's been a big waiver pickup as of late. But let's look at actually this week for Matthew and Gavin.
I'm sorry, but Matthew does not have
I
a
haven't
shot
upgraded
in the
mine
dark.
either. So.
Like,
I also don't have very many choices.
it's not even that your team is bad. It's just Gavin is already so far ahead.
Yeah, I think here's my prediction. I think you would win this week based on the matchups that you have. The Lamar Jackson against the 49ers is a little rough, but Aaron Jones against the Panthers, and then I think Mostert will have a big game against Dallas. We saw what James Cook just did to the Cowboys. And then DK Metcalf, of course, against Tennessee. So I think you might win this week, but overall, I don't think you'll have enough just because of how many points he put up last week.
I mean, he's like what? He's like 50 points ahead right now.
Let's see. Yeah, 118 to 172.
Yeah, that's quite a hill to climb.
Yeah.
And you would need like 3 or 4 players to really boom for you to have a shot, and that just doesn't really happen very often for people. I mean,
Gavin.
Yeah, Gavin last week had that happen, so I mean,
but hey, it's been interesting, and I'm curious to see who's going to be facing off in the finals, because right now it looks like it's going to be Gavin. I just don't know between me and Jason.
Our game is going to come down to on Monday.
I'm just hoping Gavin's team shits the bed this week and gets like a max of 30 points.
Yeah, and even then, you still might not catch him.
I think he would catch him if he got 30. All he had to get was 80 points.
Yeah, okay. So. You know how many times that people in our league have scored under 100 points this season?
How many times have people scored under 80, though? Never.
But, okay.
There's been, I think I've scored under 80 this season, actually.
I think you got 80-something.
Let's look at this.
Maybe.
I think I can look at that in the scoreboard, right? There's not an easy way to look at it.
You'd have to go through each week.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of
You
work.
can do it on your side, but if you go to your app and hit schedule, you'll see all your
scores. There's already one where they scored under 100.
Well, yeah, under 100, yes.
Week 1, I did shit.
Under 80 is the thing here. I scored under 100 a couple times.
Let's take a quick look here.
Damn, this is back when I was good.
Yeah, now that we're in week 4, I'm not bad anymore.
This is where it switched. This is where Steven was like, "Oh, I'm still bad," but I became the bad team, and Steven just like, "No, I'm still the bad team." He's like, "No, Steven, you're not. I am now."
So Tyler scored 84 in week 4.
Yeah,
that was his bad one. Let's see.
He only scored 89 points against.
Wow, we were all in the 120s except for me, who was in the 140s.
Oh, that's the week Gavin beat me on Monday night.
It doesn't look like anybody scored over or under 80. I scored 85. Tyler scored 80 something a couple times, but that's
he scored at least 3 times. We saw 84. We saw 89 again, and then Tyler got 89 points last week. So
I just went up from the bottom.
Week. Yeah.
So.
It's been a very interesting season.
Tyler, you got in the 80s, fucking 5
73.
times.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Tyler, 73 points.
Is that the game that Joe Burrow got hurt?
No, he's got 19.
No, he's got 19.8. No, never mind.
The rest of his team just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
There's an 85.
I think that's by far our lowest.
Then he beat
score.
Gavin the next week after that.
Yeah.
And then got under 100 again.
Mm-hmm. And then beat me, I think, the next week.
Yep.
And this was the week that I was really upset that I lost because I put up 153, but then of course Gavin put up 162. That was the week that Tank Dell I think got hurt and Nico Collins did everything for the Texans.
I put up
That's why I
140 that week, and Jason just put up almost 200 to beat me.
Jeez,
So
yeah, that was a crazy week. Look at that.
Imagine putting up 142 points and still losing by over 40.
Yeah, that's insane. It's been a fun season for the fantasy football, though. It's been.
And then this is the week where once again Steven was so worried because his team's not very good, and look at that fucking score that we had.
But yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, we can put it out there. So Tyler has officially come in last, so he gets the punishment. And then as long as the final two people that we have to ask, being Matthew and Gavin, are cool with it, first place is going to get a trophy for winning fantasy this year. So it's a whole $9 per person to get a trophy. So
I'll be down for it.
You didn't click on me and Ryan's matchup.
Do you want to talk about the pointless matchup
Hey,
that we're not counting?
I just want to throw this out there. They had the exact same record going into this game. I feel like this should matter.
No, because we said that whatever they were at we had already talked about it. Whatever they're at standings wise before playoffs started.
yeah,
It's kind of bullshit. It's bullshit though. They had the same record. I feel like Tyler should have a chance. They had the exact same record.
but we had
But
already
I also had
decided
200 more points forward than he did.
Yeah, and I had like 400 points less, and I was 2 spots ahead of you. So
No, yeah, you should be in 5th place, not Ryan, Matthew. That's basically what you're saying.
no, I'm saying that they had the same record, and I feel like that this game should have mattered. But
Well, we can do that next year.
It's
But
not up to
we
me.
agreed at the end of this year that it was regular season. So
Yeah,
We established that early on, so it's Tyler. But
sense.
Tyler has a great plan for what he's gonna
I say,
do.
we can look at this week though because it's interesting so far. I was up 30 points on Tyler at the end of last week, and then as a Thursday game, he guys thanks to Steven Puka Nakua gave him 33 points, and I got -5 for the Saints defense. So it's now my lead is completely gone.
Tyler's going all in on
Tyler's
on Titans versus Seahawks. He says he's got Derrick Henry and D-Hop.
I mean, if you look at my bench, I don't have much of a choice.
I mean, it looks like you got a whole bunch of players you could put in.
Yeah, I'd probably play Garrett Wilson. I know Trevor Simeon's going to be throwing to him, but I'd still probably play Garrett Wilson.
I'd be putting Tony Pollard in.
Yeah.
I would put Pollard in over Derrick Henry. But I'm not a Titans fan, so.
And I put Bijan on the bench. That means this week he's gonna go the fuck off. So everybody bet on Bijan.
He's gonna have 65 points.
Yep.
Yeah. What did Bijan get last week? You said 0.4?
0.7, I think, or 0.4. Yeah, he got less than 1 point.
Yeah, that's just really. Bijan has been the biggest disappointment, but it's not even his fault. It's his stupid coach.
Arthur Smith is my least favorite fucking coach I've ever liked.
Yeah, if you take over the Falcons in Madden, you just draft a quarterback and you're set, and you throw to your weapons.
It's crazy with Desmond Ridder being the quarterback that he's not just fucking constantly running with Bijan Robinson.
I mean, they've got that weird situation where they have Algier and Patterson, and they want to play them too.
Here's the
So you
solution.
take a guy in the top 10.
The solution to figuring that out, just don't play them and play Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
I mean, I look, I'm not disagreeing. I think it's stupid to take a running back in the top 10 and then not use them.
We could be on this discussion for hours, so let's go ahead and move on.
All right. Well, let's move on to our stats for last week. Starting off for week 15 stats. Congratulations, Ryan. Going with Vegas worked out well for you.
Yeah.
This particular week.
The only game I picked that wasn't a sweep that I got wrong was the Thursday night game when I was just like, which was my fuck it game. Let's just see if I can get an upset win. So if I had gone with the fucking majority on the expected winner in every game, I would have fucking gone 13 out of 16.
And was the Seahawks actually favored against the Eagles?
No, fuck no.
No.
So you also went against it for that one.
Well,
too.
yeah, of course, I went there, but so yes.
But other than that, yeah, you sticking with Vegas worked out quite well, just taking all the favored teams.
But
then,
that was for last week. I promise this week, fans, don't worry. I'm not gonna just do that cheap method. I'm gonna actually put what my actual think is gonna happen, not just what Vegas thinks is gonna happen. So
yeah,
I
and
feel like it works. I mean,
well, it did work, but I was like,
yeah.
that was more just because I was in seriously up until last week, a week. I was in the worst month of football of my entire fucking life. And I was like, I'm fucking done. I'm just going with Vegas. That way, it's their fault if I do bad again.
I mean, do you think the ESPN analysts and stuff don't look at Vegas and be like, okay, that's what they're saying?
Yeah, no, and I do too. But usually, I don't go fully with Vegas. Last week I just went fully with Vegas.
Yeah, we're beating the analysts right now. Apparently,
we are.
according to Jason.
According to Jason,
the game day analysts are. Steven, if you want to go to the next slide, it'll be easier to explain.
Well, we got a couple
slides
slides before the
We'll talk about it on
overall.
the next slide. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so Ryan got first, 75% right. Matthew had a good week as well, 69%.
Like I said in our chat, it was a couple of phoenixes rising from the ashes this week.
Yes.
And then we had a three-way tie for third, being me, Gavin, and Jason. And then Tyler's down there at 50%. So Tyler's doing his Matthew impression right now.
It's comeback season.
It's getting a little too late.
You're going the wrong way, buddy. I was coming for Matthew. It seems like not you, buddy.
Yeah. Which now we'll get into the next slide. We don't have any "you're right, we were wrong," but there is a worst pick of the week this week. Tyler picked the Jets to beat the Dolphins, and they lost 30-6 or 30-0. Sorry, 30-0. So
they didn't even score.
They did not even score. Just a disaster of a game for the Jets. And it's crazy too because the Dolphins, a lot of people were saying they didn't have Tyreek Hill, so a lot of people were saying they're not going to do well and all that. But then they put up 30 against Jets, who have a solid defense. So pretty crazy. Maybe the Dolphins are back. Who knows?
That was Tyler's.
Left.
That was Tyler's. We beat the Dolphins, so the Jets can for some reason.
I mean, they have a good defense.
They do.
Also, Tyreek wasn't playing.
They normally do.
Tyreek wasn't playing, so I, figured that Sauce Gardner would shut down Jalen Waddle.
He did not.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle had a great game against
Jalen Waddle was cooking with that sauce. Let me tell you that.
Sauce Gardner is overrated.
He fucking is. I've said that since last year.
Yeah, but that was mostly the
I know, that was
Rick Woolen versus Sauce Gardner thing. That's a bias thing.
100% is. I've always had like a vendetta since last year, though, against Sauce Gardner.
All right, moving on.
He's a better rookie cornerback.
Moving on, we've got the overall stats, and now we can bring up the analyst thing once I go through it. But Gavin's still in first at 65%, 147 correct picks. Jason's in second with 142 correct. I'm in third with 140. Ryan is right there behind me. It all came down to the Rams-Saints game on who was going to be back in third because we were tied. Yeah. Ryan's at 139, and then Tyler's at 122, but he's gaining some ground on him. Matthew's at 116 correct, at 52% as opposed to 54%. So they're battling for fifth place as well.
How many weeks do we have? This is week 16.
We have 3 weeks. 3 weeks left.
Yeah, 16, 17, 18.
Technically, Tyler and Matthew could still cut it with the group if we all do really bad at the top half.
We also have to pick separate from us every single time, basically.
Spoiler alert, there's a lot of sweeps this week, so not expecting a big one.
Matthew has to catch up 23 games, and Tyler's catch up 17 on me, so.
Yeah, but the whole,
I'm just trying to beat Tyler at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more of a race for the bottom.
That's how it was last year with you and me, Matthew.
Yeah. But the whole thing of us doing better than the analysts...
It's honestly astounding how bad I am at picking.
It's honestly a talent,
Yeah. None of us could do that bad.
No.
I should have got him 50.
Okay, bring up the analyst thing now. What was it, Jason?
So, I watched the NFL Game Day people make their picks this morning before we recorded, and Ryan being at 139 picks right is tied for the best that the analysts are doing so far this year. So Steven, myself, and Gavin are doing better than the analysts are so far in picking NFL games this year.
Hire us. That's all I'm saying. I'll
I'm-
leave my job right now if I can
Hey,
be
I will
honest.
quit my job yesterday if you could go be the NFL game day host. We would do better. That's all we're saying.
I pick
Except, well, don't hire Tyler and Matthew, but
I think they could still be
No,
on
we're
there.
a package deal.
Yeah.
okay,
All of us or nothing.
yeah.
Just
We
be
just-
aware. Just be aware, ESPN. I may accidentally call the Broncos the Browns and the Browns the Broncos because I've done that multiple times this season. So.
Also, he might accidentally laugh if somebody has cancer.
All right, let's move on after that. Okay, let's move on to our playoff eliminated and clinching scenario, or all the playoff shit. So, as of right now, the eliminated teams, we've got the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Jets, the Patriots, and, of course, the Titans are all eliminated from playoff contention.
And the Commanders.
Oh, and the Commanders, too.
First,
right in the middle of the
team
screen.
to fall. Or for the first podcast team to fall.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the first time in 96 games that we will play a game where we are eliminated before the game. So,
and of course, we're going to it. So let's see what the attendance is like, and especially it's against the Seahawks, who just beat the Eagles. So that's.
And we're not like an elite team with it. We're pretty mid this year.
And the Eagles are not that good this year.
Yeah,
they've been playing lately.
So like I said, I'm not fucking like expecting a blowout. I'm still fucking nervous because it's the fucking Titans, and it's
I just want to remind everyone, we talked about it a lot. The Titans are the weirdest team ever. They beat the 1 seed Dolphins and then followed up losing at home to a Texans JV team because CJ Stroud was out. Half of their fucking receivers were out. They literally only had Noah Brown, and he lit us up. I cannot believe we lost that game. I really was going into that game like, we're fine, we're going to be okay this week. And then they fucking blew it in overtime. So, yep, one team out.
Yeah, that will be kind of crazy. I mean, like, y'all coming off of losing to the JV Texans and us coming off beating the 10-3 now Eagles, and then y'all fucking beat us again. That would just be fucking Titans.
Is Gino playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's supposed to.
Why?
Because
I don't
he's
know.
healthy.
Drew
Drew Lock
Lock
had a great last drive.
amazing.
Drew Lock had a great last drive, but in general, I still think Gino has he's more all round and better. I think Drew Lock has a future.
I do think if Gino starts playing bad, they may put Drew.
Yeah, they should
Lock
put in Drew. They should. Drew Lock's the reason we won that fucking game against the Eagles. He got that game-winning drive.
It's kind of hard not to root for Drew Lock after his speech at the end was just so good, very heartfelt speech. I was like, I gotta root for the guy.
Did y'all? Go ahead, Tyler.
I was gonna say, did y'all see where he was looking for Jalen Hurts? He's like,
he was
sick.
I guess he's sick. Yeah, because Jalen did not come out in the field and shake Drew Lock's hand or anything. So Drew Lock was around.
Sore loser.
Yep.
He lost the horse cock lock.
Horse-style walk is back. It was great. I watched so many. I've never after a game watched so many fucking replays and interviews and just so much shit over the next few days because I was just reliving that hype. I was so hyped when we fucking won.
I did that for the Dolphins game, Dolphins-Titans game. Yeah.
Another quick question. Of the teams that are still available to make the playoffs, who are you most shocked by?
Chargers and Steelers.
That's a big question.
The Chargers you'll see are very much on the chopping block.
Based off of this season or based off of last season?
Just right now, looking at this picture, who are you surprised can still make the postseason?
Actually, Bucks as well.
The Bears,
I was going to say the Bucks.
Giants. The Bears and the Giants.
The Giants. I didn't realize the Giants were still on there. Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
No. The Giants started off so bad, and then they were really looking like they were potentially making the playoffs. So yeah, I guess that question's kind of hard to answer. I think it's more like which teams that are surprisingly on the bubble to be either in the playoffs or literally in the playoff picture right now. And I think one of them is the Rams, especially with how bad the Rams were last year. They're a team that I've been looking at that they've really recovered because they have a couple of stud players. They hit gold with Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua. So they're one team that I've been watching a lot. And the Colts. The Colts have surprised me this year. I mean, we already brought it up earlier, but But looking at this, so also we've got the clinching teams. Both the Cowboys and the Eagles have clinched, and then also the Ravens, and I think that's it. Oh,
3
yeah.
NFC teams and 1 AFC team.
where's the
49ers.
49ers? Are they
On the
on
left.
here?
On the left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. So yeah, we got the 49ers here too. So, but yeah. Then let's go on to the next slide. We've got who's on the chopping block.
And it's real simple.
The Bears.
If these teams lose, they are out, regardless of any other result. If they lose, they're out.
That's easy. Works out well. So you got the Giants, the Bears, the Chargers, and the Raiders.
The Giants. Oof. It's gonna be tough for the Giants and Chargers this week.
It's tough for all of these teams. The Raiders have the Chiefs. The Bears have the Cardinals, who have started to look a little bit better. So, I mean, all of these teams could get eliminated, but it is weird. Last week there were 5 teams on the chopping block. This week there's only 4. It feels weird that there's less teams the further into the season we've gotten that could be eliminated.
Especially when there's so many teams that are still in the picture.
I think it's honestly like it'll be down to a handful of teams in the final week that like I think we might
it's going to come down to like strength of victory and stuff like that for who gets in.
Too many teams right at 500. We were looking at it before. We got a lot of 8-6, 6-8, and 7-7 teams.
Yeah, go Hawks.
I just know that the Packers have to win out, and I know what we're gonna do is win the next 2 games, and then we're gonna fucking lose the final week, and we're not gonna make the playoffs.
Who do y'all play the final week?
It's either the Bears or Vikings. I can't. It might be flipped, but I know it's Panthers. I think it's Panthers, Vikings, Bears.
I just know if we lose any of our last 3 games, we don't deserve to go to the playoffs, and we're not going to do any well in the playoffs anyway. So,
I still want to see us in the playoffs. I don't care if we're.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't. It might be a case where if we do lose, we're not in the playoffs. I mean, we're 500 exactly right now, but we play the Titans and then the fucking Steelers and the Cardinals.
I just want to see the Broncos in the playoffs. Period. Like, I don't even care if we lose in the first round. As long as we make the playoffs, I'll be happy.
Yeah,
I'll be really sad if all of y'all are in the playoffs except for me and Tyler and the Titans. That would be awful.
Be happy for me, Steven. I haven't been in the playoffs.
I mean, I'll be happy. I'll be happy for y'all, but also really sad for me because it's like we're the only ones on the outside looking.
It'll be the second straight season, no postseason.
It's crazy. It's been 8
I'm
years.
not too keen on the Packers actually making it.
I'm 50-50 at this point with Seahawks. Whether they make it or not.
The Broncos are in a spot where even if they win out, they could still miss the playoffs. So
yeah,
we have to have
relying on other things.
We don't need a lot of help, but we need a couple of teams to lose one of their last 3 games, which is very possible with who they play. But it all comes down to us winning our 3 games that we have left. So,
all right, well, let's move on. We got the clinching scenarios, which there's luckily not that much to read, so I'll bring it up. So Detroit,
there's plenty of scenarios. I just only listed the easy ones.
The easy ones, okay. So you got Detroit clinching a playoff spot with a Rams loss or tie or a Seahawks loss or tie. So Ryan doesn't want that to happen.
Every single week, one of the clinching scenarios of the teams is Seahawks losing. Every fucking week.
It does seem that way. It's because of the NFC, man. It's interesting over there. And then the Chiefs clinch a playoff berth with a Chiefs win. Okay, sounds easy enough. And then Cleveland. Huh? What?
Yeah.
Well, you would think, depending on how the Chiefs play, they've been a mess this year. Maybe they're actually, I think they're missing the enemy too. I'm surprised that it does seem like that actually mattered. And then looking at the Dolphins, they clinch a playoff berth with a Dolphins win or a Dolphins tie and a Jags loss, which I guess either of those could happen. And then the Browns clinch a playoff berth with too much for us to explain. So a lot of scenarios there. What's going on with it?
So I'll read off the one that they have listed as the most possible is the Browns win, the Broncos lose or tie, the Colts lose or tie, the Bills lose, and the Dolphins win or tie. That is the easiest solution for the Browns to clinch a playoff spot this week.
Wasn't there one team that you said had like 60 scenarios?
The Chargers have 62 different, or actually, because of the Thursday night game, it's gone down. They did have
Okay.
62 different ways to be eliminated, but now it's down
That's
to
insane.
50.
Okay.
And
That's
Watch them somehow
ridiculous.
survive. 50 different ways to be eliminated, but they somehow survived this week.
So they could be eliminated if they lose or if the Jags win. So they have two very easy ways to be eliminated this week.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's go to our first game for this upcoming week. We've got the Bengals taking on the Steelers. So, right now, Matthew and Gavin picked the Steelers. Everyone else went Bengals. Matthew,
I'm a Jake Browning believer.
It's more of the fact that it's in Pittsburgh and it's a division game right at the end of the season. It just seems like a game that the Steelers are going to win.
They're averaging so few points though now.
Doesn't matter.
They're averaging 14 points a game. It's so bad.
They've been doing that all season though. I mean,
I like how Steven Googled Google.
Shut up.
And
I realized I did that too.
The whole Browning bandwagon is, I feel like it's going to fall off the tracks here soon.
Also, nobody could see that because I was on the other screen. So it's fine.
And also Jamar Chase is out, which is a factor.
Yeah, but
Brown doesn't really use Jamar Chase.
I was about to say he doesn't throw to Jamar, and also Jamar just hasn't been playing up to par pretty much this whole season. So I feel like it's not going to be that big of a difference because Browning throws to his tight ends a lot.
Yeah,
and he throws to the running backs a lot. So,
and he did get to use T. Higgins a good bit last week too. So
yeah,
I think he's liking T. Higgins being back.
Future Titan.
Maybe. We'd have to pay him pretty good to come here.
Honestly, though, he's going to be a free agent, and they're not going to be able to pay him. So, for the Bengals,
I think if they really want to, they'd try to find a way at this point. But salary cap's fake, so we already know that.
Sometimes you just can't though. Like,
I mean, they're already paying like Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow a fuck ton of money,
like $4 billion.
But yeah,
I just think the Bengals offense is going to be too good for the Steelers offense to keep up with.
I've said it multiple times. I fucking hate the Steelers this year. They're the most boring team to watch. Their offense sucks. I can't pick the Steelers.
They're starting Mason Rudolph today as well.
They win. That's why I pick them. They win games. I don't care if they're boring or not.
Well, I mean that's the case usually, but in their past few weeks, it's not been the case at all. They haven't won games.
This might actually be the first season where Mike Tomlin finishes below 500.
We talk about it every week that it might happen.
What's the record now?
7-7. They have the Bengals, the Seahawks, and the Ravens as their final 3 games.
They honestly they shouldn't finish positive with those 3.
Yeah, but it's also, they say that for the past 15 years that Mike Tomlin's been coaching, and it always happens.
I don't like that at all though, because out of those 3 teams, they're not going to beat the fucking Ravens. That means they're going to beat the Bengals and the Seahawks. I don't want that. Obviously,
they're gonna somehow upset because they already beat the Ravens this year. We got to remember that.
Oh,
they beat the Ravens. Lamar Jackson had a horrible game against them when they played.
Was that in Pittsburgh? Or was that in Baltimore?
Yes, it was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson played horrible. So somehow, some way, Tomlin's gonna get a fucking 9-8 record, and we're gonna be like, "Oh, here we go again, classic Mike Tomlin."
The Seahawks is the one other loss they take. That's fine with me.
They're gonna go 8-8-1. They're gonna tie with the Seahawks.
That's fine with me as well. Honestly, that's what we'll lose again.
8-8-1. What would they? Is that? I mean, is that considered a winning record?
It's not a
had that 1 year.
I mean, yes.
It's not a losing record.
Or the Browns went 8-8 1 year.
It's just a record. That's all it is.
The Browns went, I think, 7-8-1 1 year, and me and my buddy had a bet. The bet was that he said that the Browns were going to get not negative record that year or something. And I was like, nah, I fucking bet you that they won't. So we bet like $100 towards it, and they fucking went 7-8-1 that year.
That's
Like,
incredible.
so just below a winning record. I won $100 off of him. It was great.
All right, let's move on.
On to the next game for today.
We got, these games are happening today at the time we're recording. So depending on when this episode comes up, some of this might have already somewhat happened. So the Bills are taking on the Chargers. The Chargers have now fired Brandon Staley, so I don't even know who their fucking coach is supposed to be.
I saw that Kellen Moore declined to be the interim coach.
He did, because he didn't want to ruin his chances at being a head coach next year somewhere.
Yeah, I think so.
I like how this is the first time I think we've seen this season where people didn't go on the bandwagon of the firing the head coach effect.
I think the Chargers are a fucking dumpster fire right now. How can you possibly trust them?
If Easton Stick wasn't playing, I might have picked the Chargers, but Easton Stick
you
is
also
playing.
just fucking hate the Bills, so I'm surprised you picked the Bills, honestly.
This isn't the first game that they are playing with the new coach. This is our second game playing with the new coach.
Okay.
So one thing that was lucky last week, Jason did not play James Cook in fantasy. He's got him playing this week, and it's a favorable matchup, so I'm a little worried that he's just going to light up the Chargers. Because, they've been...
I need the help.
The Chargers are a mess.
I can't believe that they gave Josh Allen the game ball last week when James Cook did, like, all the work.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That's not fair. He literally in the press conference was like, I'm like the guy in the group project that gets an A for doing nothing. Like, he literally said that in a press conference. Wow. That's insulting.
Jason, this is the first week with the new coach, because it was Thursday game last week was when the Chargers-Raiders game happened.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Thursday Night Football.
This is the first game for the coach.
My bad.
I like the Harry Potter ornament there.
Yeah, there were. Well, you can thank Ryan, because Ryan found it. But
that was Ryan's work.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, it was a Bills sweep. Nobody wants to touch the Chargers right now. Also, Keenan Allen's out, so
I will also just to touch on obviously I'm always been a Bills believer, but last week I was watching the podcast episode. Obviously, I was on it, but I was watching it too. And I watched when we were at the Bills Cowboys game, and obviously it was me against you two who were both going with the Cowboys. Yeah. And it was great watching back because everything I said was right and everything y'all were saying was wrong. And I was just so happy.
Look, Ryan, if you go back and watch your old episodes, we all have things that just are wrong
most of the time, but I'm also mostly wrong. It was great rewatching something where I was actually the one who was right this time, and not the one who was being a complete dumbass like usual.
Being called a dumbass. Thank you.
I'm not saying y'all are being a dumbass. I'm usually the dumbass. Not y'all aren't a dumbass.
Let's go back a couple episodes when you said that the Eagles' defense was better than the Cowboys' defense.
Yeah, no, exactly. I told you. I'm saying I'm a dumbass. I'm just saying for once it was nice to not be the one who was wrong.
For those that care, the fourth quarter of this game will be commercial free.
Oh yeah, this is. I just remembered this is the Peacock exclusive game, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Tyler, I know you said that it's
who's
a
actually
shitty
going
game.
to be watching this game?
I'm going to watch it because it's a football game. I mean, I want to watch football.
There's going to be a point where I don't want to watch that game, I'm sure.
Well, I have players in fantasy playing in that game, so I'm going to be watching it.
I can't wait for Eckler to suddenly decide to play again, too. He's going to be on my bench and do something.
And then Keenan Allen I would say he will because he's on your bench, and Keenan Allen will also just rise from the injury report at fucking the kickoff because Jason's on Jason's bench and play as well.
Game time decision change.
I'll set fire to the stadium.
All right, let's move on. We got
spoiler.
What do you mean? This is the next slide.
I thought you were saying spoiler for Jason setting fire to the stadium. I'm like, Jesus.
All right, moving on. We got the Commanders taking on the Jets. And the man who picked the Jets against the Dolphins last week has now picked against them this week.
Tyler, what the fuck, man?
You make no sense.
I trust Sam Howell more than I trust Trevor Siemian.
Okay, but do you trust Sam Howell against one of the best defenses in the league?
Yeah.
Or do you trust Trevor Siemian against the worst defense in the league?
Definitely, Sam. I would pick Sam Howell over Trevor Siemian too. But yeah, defense-wise.
Yeah, give me the Jets defense to get at least 3 turnovers this game.
And they're
Maybe,
gonna have Aaron Rodgers on the sidelines motivating them. Oh,
yeah,
Yes.
he's gonna be sitting there showing off his
mean,
Achilles tendon,
they're
being like,
going
yeah,
to
look,
show
look,
him and talk
but
about him at least 50
this
times
is-
during this game.
This is
Yep.
also the 32nd defense against the 32nd offense.
Oh, it's gonna be such a good game. Is this
Since-
tonight's game?
what?
Is this tonight's
No,
game?
No,
this
That's
is
tomorrow?
a Sunday game.
Okay.
we're to Sunday now.
Yeah, we only had the couple Saturday games. So, yeah, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to be like in his uniform? Like, is he going to be all
No.
suited up and everything?
No, he
No.
better
That'd be-
not.
That'd be so stupid.
He is such a fucking attention whore.
Mhm.
All right. But yeah, so Tyler picked the Commanders, everyone else went with the Jets. Let's move on to the next one. We've got the Lions taking on the Vikings. This was a
Nobody
Lions
believes in
sweep.
Nick Mullen.
The
No.
Vikings don't look good anymore. Something happened and they just like a switch was flipped and they turned into a bad team.
I mean, they looked decent against the Bengals. I know they didn't come out with the win, but they held their own against them. It was a
They
pretty.
they had the lead for a good bit of that game. Yeah.
And the offense held their own. The defense looks like shit.
Oh yeah.
Like even the pass rush
I
is just not
actually
doing what it
watched
used
that
to.
game. It was okay. And the catch from T. Higgins was absolutely bonkers.
That was
but
nasty.
That was
Absolutely
crazy.
nasty. I will say, like, the Lions, I started getting worried about the Lions. Like I picked the Broncos against the Lions last week, and, they had a couple games where they were struggling there, but last week they looked back to where we thought they were early on in the season, like potential Super Bowl candidate with the way they played last week.
Depending on where the Lions finish in the playoff race, they could end up playing the Rams and Matthew Stafford at Detroit. That would be such a good playoff game.
yes, it
First,
would.
their first home playoff game in 30 years, and it'd be going against their quarterback that they had for all those years.
That's crazy.
That would be bizarre.
I'm sticking with it. Obviously I picked the Lions for this one, but I wouldn't be like blown. It wouldn't blow my mind if the Vikings end up winning this somehow. Just because I feel like both of these teams have been such a fucking roller coaster of what team shows up this year.
Yes.
And so it's very possible that the good Vikings show up and the shit Lions show up.
And
I
once
think it
again,
really-
it's just a divisional game. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it's
divisional
all
game.
good.
Absolutely.
Can Detroit? Oh, never mind. We already went over this. I thought Detroit could win the North because they're like already selling NFC North championship.
Yeah, if they
shirts.
win this
yeah, I'm
week,
sure.
they win the division.
Which means they'll have the playoff berth.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it with the Lions has come down to which Jared Goff shows up each week. Because when Jared Goff has been fumbling the ball a lot, they've lost those games, obviously. Because you lose the turnover battle, it's hard to win a game that way. But if Jared Goff plays well and he throws, like, for example, 3 fucking touchdowns to Sam Laporta, you're gonna have a good game.
So
that's
that's
Matthew
Sun
Wong
God.
for
That's what you
sure.
to look out for. It's Sun God time.
Moving on. Y'all good? Move on?
Mhm.
All right. We got the Browns taking on the Texans. And it's a Browns sweep. Sorry, CJ Stroud, you're still in concussion protocol as far as I know.
And the Browns
Yeah.
aren't the Titans, so they can hopefully win this game.
I mean,
The
Njoku will
Yeah.
probably go off.
yeah,
Njoku's
the-
been
Njoku's
going crazy.
awesome. He is awesome to watch. He's probably my favorite Browns player right now.
He apparently injured himself
He
again.
did.
So
yeah, he stubbed his toe and had to get
Stubbed
stitches.
his toe so hard that he had to get stitches.
Crazy.
Yeah,
And then-
surprised
and then
that wasn't
scored-
in the news.
and then scored 2 touchdowns 2 days later. So, yeah, CJ Stroud's been ruled out officially. So,
Nico
It's
Collins
gonna
is
be-
back in though.
yeah,
Or
but they don't
he's
have
questionable,
CJ
but he
Stroud.
should be back in. But yeah, he doesn't
Uh,
have CJ Stroud throw to him, so
Give
We
me,
didn't know last week. We thought that it was going to be Davis Mills at quarterback. It ended up being Case Keenum. You think it's going to be Keenum again? I guess so because they
I mean he
just
won. So I
Yeah.
don't know why they would
Yeah.
bench him.
but still give me the Browns.
That sounds like
and-
Drew Lock and Geno Smith.
Oh, I'm bringing that
I
back
mean-
up.
we get talk about it later. We get to the Seahawks game.
give me the eliteness of Joe Flacco to win this game.
Oh yeah, that was a conversation that happened over Discord the other day.
He's fucking elite, man. Joe Flacco is fucking elite.
Oh, cool.
I think it's going to be more the Browns defense, and then, well, yeah, also, I'm sure
Old man Flack.
Joe Flacco and Njoku are going to have a big game. So
Flacco's going to throw for 3 touchdowns. Watch.
Two
of them go to Njoku. 2 of them. Not
Okay,
the
only
third
2.
one.
Sorry. So one go to Amari Cooper or something.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Amari Cooper gets the third one.
No, 2 to Njoku.
Three of those passes go to the other team.
One that's deflected, and he catches himself and runs it in.
Yes. Why he leaps over a Texas defender because he's that elite.
Somersaults.
Yes, that's a flip.
Telling me he's going to pull a Marcus Mariota. Catches
But
him
cooler.
ball for a touchdown.
Mhm.
Hey,
All right.
he's not going to pull a Mariota.
All right, let's move
Nope.
on. All right. Next up, we got one of our podcast teams right here. We got the Packers taking on the Panthers. And I swear, the Packers better not lose this game.
Surprise winners last week, the Carolina Panthers.
Can I just say something?
Go
If the
ahead.
Packers lose this game, you probably will never see me again.
Matthew, I'm sure the tickets are cheap. It's just a short drive.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I would not like to. I would drive all the way up there and we would lose. And then I would drive my car off the bridge on the way home.
I would not be surprised if this particular game had more Packers fans there than Panthers fans.
Oh,
I would
100%.
not doubt it at all. But yeah, of course, it was a sweep for the Packers. Panthers are coming off a win, like Tyler mentioned, and a solid 9-7 win over the fucking Falcons, who don't use Bijan.
Over Arthur Smith. Not the Falcons,
look,
Arthur
why?
Smith.
Yeah,
You draft all these like top weapons. Why use them?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Send it off to Algier or 80-year-old Cordell.
I'm by the way, I'm calling this game this week the Pawpaw matchup. You got the Packers and the Panthers. It's the Pawpaws.
So Matthew, let's theoretically say, I hope it doesn't happen for your sake and really the sake of the entire NFL, because that would just be horrible. If the Panthers somehow upset y'all,
Yes.
Joe Barry's gone, right? After this game?
No, he's not.
You don't think
They
so?
will keep him. They will 100% keep him.
Oh my god, that would be ridiculous. Because like that's the problem is that he's lost y'all a lot of games.
He's brain dead.
It's
He's
just
sitting
as
up in the booth, drooling at the mouth, calling plays because he doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
it's also just as crazy that Arthur Smith didn't get fired after losing to them. So
Yes. But Matt LaFleur says he has full confidence in Joe Barry's play calling ability. How?
I'm
It's called
wouldn't at this
prevent
point.
defense on 3rd and 1. I mean, what the
He's trying to prevent them.
I don't have anything else to say about Joe Barry. I hate that man so much. He has lost us so many games this season. We have such a talented roster.
just drive
and
up there and tell Joe Barry how you feel.
I feel like I can call a better defense than Joe Barry, and I know nothing about coverages.
Just
Y'all
bring
are-
Joe Barry a Madden playbook and just be like, use one of these.
Give him like 4 plays, and I feel like he can do better than what he's been doing. It's ridiculous. I've never seen a 250-pound linebacker cover number 1 receivers so often as I've seen Devondre Campbell and Preston Smith cover fucking people like Jamar Smith and Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson. Why? Why is that happening?
Because they're quick.
Go ahead.
No, they're not.
All right. You have anything else you want to add there, Matthew?
That's it.
Romeo Dobbs, big game incoming.
I'm glad I was able to get that out.
Yeah, no, we want you to express your feelings. This is a safe place.
Real quick, is Jordan Love like close to finishing top 8?
In touchdowns, yes, but in everything else, I don't think so. I think he's 5th in touchdowns. So
All right.
We'll have to check in on our predictions.
bold predictions.
Yeah.
I will say my prediction about the Falcons winning the NFC South is looking better, but I had them finding their quarterback, meaning Taylor Heineke, that they haven't played but once this season.
It's a split.
All right, moving on. We've got our
Podcast
next
game of the week.
Yeah, and like Ryan mentioned, 3 of us are going to it. We got the Seahawks taking on the Titans. We put it in the Discord earlier. Any player that might give us any sort of chance, the Titans any sort of chance, is out this week. Our entire secondary's out.
Well, I saw the out list. Y'all have 2 cornerbacks, 2 D linemen, 2 linebackers, all out this week,
and our main safety, Amani Hooker,
and 2 safeties, too.
Is Derrick Henry playing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, he's not on the injury list.
Okay.
Their offense injury list was pretty fine. It was just their defense doesn't exist anymore.
That's really the problem, is their defense, and Jeffrey Simmons being out too.
I mean,
sucks.
we're without NWI as well.
Yeah, well.
But he always goes off when we go to the game.
Oh, I know. I just don't understand. I think our offensive coordinator is just obsessed with, like, whatever we do, make sure Nick Westbrook-Akine has a lot of plays. He's like in there every play. It's like there's a lot better wide receivers that we could probably implement.
He's a good slot guy, though. He's a good slot guy.
But Ryan, how about you go first? Let's hear what you're thinking for this game.
Yeah. So I mean, like we talked about earlier, it should be, the Seahawks should win this, but I'm still fucking worried. And just like I said, it really comes down to nothing about, like, yes, technically I would say Seahawks for sure are a better team this year than the Titans, but for me it all comes down to the whole fucking superstitious shit of, Steven has never watched the Titans lose. It is in Nissan, which they're better at. I still would see the Seahawks win. I don't know. It's all the Titans have no business. They always win games or have no business of winning. There's so many superstitious things going all over the place in my head that I'm so fucking just full of anxiety for this game.
Yeah.
But I did wear my Kenneth Walker jersey while watching the Eagles game last week, so that's no longer cursed. Curse is broken. We're good. So I can wear it to the game. It'll be fine.
And we got to remember the whole thing about the Titans only being able to win in Nashville is gone now because they beat the Dolphins away and then lost at home to the Texans. Yep. So that's gone. It's all the Jersey shit.
It's now just that you've never seen the Titans lose. That's what I'm worried about the most.
Never seen them lose in person. Yep.
And I know it doesn't really count much only into one game, but I've still never seen the Seahawks win. So in person. But yeah, I don't know. I should win this. But I don't know. I wouldn't be super surprised if the Titans end up pulling it out their ass and winning. Who knows? I think it'll be a close game, honestly. I don't think it'll be a blowout or anything. And there's also the whole there's the whole debate about a quarterback. I mean, Gino's going to start probably. And yeah, Drew Lock had a fucking amazing game. I love Drew Lock from our last game. He beat the Eagles. I mean, the game winning drive was Drew Lock. Just balling out, honestly. And but I still think just consistently, Gino is the better, more like safer option. Honestly, if we were playing another like team that we have no business beating, or like that's better than us, I might be like, just fuck it. Let's put Drew Lock in there, see if he can ball out. But I think Gino is a safer option out of the two of them, and I'd rather play it safe on this game, which a game we should win. So.
But since I never really truly mentioned it, it is a 3-3 split. And of course, Ryan went Seahawks, and then me and Tyler went Titans. But then Jason and Gavin went Seahawks, but then Matthew picked the Titans. So Matthew, what's your thought process here? I'm very curious.
I really don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I have picked the Titans a lot this season for some reason, but I will say most of the time, whenever it's us three on the Titan side, I think they've pulled it out, if I'm remembering right. So, who knows? Also, not a fan of the Seahawks.
That might be true. That might be true about when we're all over there, the Titans win. But also, we got to remember that I have picked them against them twice, and they won those. So that breaks that a little bit, but it's possible.
The whole defense being injured really makes me want to change, but I'm not gonna. I'll stick with the Titans.
Yeah.
All right.
There's by the way, there's also a figurative wall on this screen right here, Steven, on the Seahawks border that says "No Steven allowed." You're not allowed to pick against your team this week. because they always win when you do that. So I'm not letting you pick the Seahawks.
Well, and I don't really feel great about this game. It's very clear about that. The main reason, of course, I didn't pick against my own team here is because I can't do that when I'm going to the
absolutely,
game.
yes.
Absolutely not.
No,
So
hell,
that's
bad juju.
That is so much bad juju. So hell no, I'm not doing that. So of course I'm picking my team here. The other thing I worry about is maybe Derrick Henry can have a bounce back game. He usually does good after having a bad week. Like he's historically really good after a bad week, and he had a historically bad week last week. 16 carries for 9 yards.
How is the Seahawks rushing defense?
It's better than our secondary.
Okay.
I think. Let me verify that. I could be completely fucking wrong, but
I mean, you still have to consider the secondary a little bit for rushing defense if they get past the first level.
Well, I mean, like better than our passing defense.
Yeah.
Well, I don't trust any safety in the league to tackle Derrick Henry one-on-one, so it doesn't matter anyway.
We're not good. It looks like. We're 25th in rushing yards allowed per game, with 127.3.
King Henry game coming up.
Look, all I know is, so the biggest thing with this game is if the Titans win, obviously we'll be happy, but it doesn't help us at all. We are out of playoff contention. All this would be doing is just ruining the Seahawks' chances of making the playoffs. So if the Titans win, it's going to be
moving us down the draft board.
Yeah, it doesn't help us in that way either. But I mean, obviously, you want to see your team win, but I can only imagine that car ride home if the Titans upset the Seahawks here.
I'm not gonna. I watched. If we had lost the Eagles last week, it would have been much worse. But we beat the Eagles, so I can confidently say if we lose, I'll be sad for a little bit, but I'm not gonna let it ruin my fucking Christmas and everything.
You'll put it up to Titans being the Titans again.
Yeah, no, like I say, I'm not gonna be that depressed if we lose, because it's the Titans being the Titans, and we just had a fucking, like I said, highest I've ever felt after what a Seahawks game, honestly, in after the Super Bowl and shit. It was amazing last week because it was just Pete Carroll had never had a 4-game losing streak before, and we were expected to lose that game again last week, and it was just he fucking pulled it out.
Y'all officially own the Eagles too.
Oh yeah, no, I think we've beat the Eagles for the last 15 or 16 matchups. Pete Carroll has never lost.
8-0, I think, against the Eagles. Right?
Yeah, Pete Carroll has never lost to the Eagles. Pete Carroll has beat the Eagles every single time he's played them, but we have beat the Eagles even farther back than Pete Carroll. They haven't beat us since probably the fucking last millennium.
I noticed that on the game-winning drive, the Seahawks only bullied James Bradbury.
Yeah,
the
I
whole
saw that
time
too.
for the Eagles.
I was also so fucking pissed off at that little fucking 21. It was a rookie, I think, in the Eagles secondary. I think it was Sidney Brown or something. He was being a little fucking bitch in that first half. The way he was playing, he was getting in our players' faces. He was late hitting several times, and then
that sounds a lot like DK Metcalf.
Yeah, but he's a receiver. It's different. Yeah.
I also saw that.
Hold on, let me finish the thought. Towards the end of that first half, though, the fucking scores and stuff we got at the end of that first half, every single play was just owning Sidney Brown's little fucking ass every fucking time. And it was amazing. The rest of he started off being all a little bitchy and chirpy and shit, and then we shut him the fuck down the rest of the game. I was so happy.
I was just going to say, I saw that the Eagles coach admitted that the last deep shot to A.J. Brown was to draw an intentional DPI. Wasn't even supposed to work.
And that fucking interception was fucking amazing. And it wouldn't have worked unless Julian Love's leg hadn't hit the other fucking cornerback's leg. And that, I think, slowed it down to hit the fucking ground. It was a crazy interception.
All right. Well, we spent a lot of time on this game.
Well, it's our podcast.
It's a podcast.
Jason get to say his. Jason getting to say his reasoning.
Well, the same reason that the Seahawks beat the Eagles is the same reason they're going to beat the Titans.
Drew Lock.
The secondary. He means
secondary.
Yeah,
and your starting secondary is out, so you're going your second string secondary against the best trio of wide receivers in the league.
Wide receiver core is stacked as fuck over there at the Seahawks.
You get that young quarterback. Or Drew Lock just emerges out of cocoon as a fucking goat, and we're amazing. We're set.
I mean, he's probably not going to be very good if
Usually
he
goats
comes
don't
out if
come
he's
out
a
of
goat.
cocoons.
All right, let's move on. We got our next matchup. We got the Colts taking on the Falcons. Funny enough, we've been shitting on the Falcons, but look who picked the Falcons over there. Matthew picked the Falcons. Everyone else picked the Colts.
My only reasoning is that because I like the Colts way more than the Falcons. My only reasoning is that I want my bold prediction to be right of them winning the NFC South. I need them to win.
So
You
then
would
why
need
would you
them to
pick
win
for
and the
them,
Bucks to
Matthew?
lose, right?
Yes, I do need the Bucks to lose.
I
Well, we'll get to that slide in a minute. You might want to
No,
change
I
that.
know.
Go ahead, Matthew.
Oh no, I don't have anything else to say. But the fact that I did pick the Bucks, and that's just because I want my picks to be right. I'm in a conundrum.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, I don't
Either
think
way, he's going to be right.
I might not fucking pick Arthur Smith again this year. Honestly, like I just don't. It's was it not the Falcons? Arthur Smith is the fucking worst coach in the league. It's fucking he sucks.
You lost to
Yeah.
the Panthers 9-7.
And it's 100% coaching. 100% coaching.
The biggest thing to watch in this game is that the Colts are going to be without Isaiah McKenzie and Zach Moss.
Is Jonathan Taylor back?
Great question. The answer to that is yes.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
There's also a 70% chance Bijan Robinson will have some mysterious illness at game time. We won't
They
hear
got
about.
they got
till the game
fined for
starts.
that though.
Or they'll put him out there, he'll fumble the ball, and then he'll never touch the field again.
Mm-hmm. No, so he's on my bench. He's gonna have a fucking record game, honestly, probably.
Yeah, I can't wait for us to go over our bold predictions again and look back at me saying Bijan Robinson was going to be a top 5 running back. And I think he could have been. I
He can
think.
still do it, Steven, if he gets like a several 100-yard or couple 100-yard games.
He's only got 2 games to do it.
All right. Well, I don't really have much to say about this game. Yeah,
No.
I have the same opinion as Ryan. I can't pick the Falcons with Arthur Smith doing the shit he's been doing, and then the Colts are looking like they're making that playoff push. I've been very surprised. Yeah. They're the team that other teams should be looking at, being like, hey, look, they were smart and had a backup quarterback that's somewhat decent, so they haven't screwed themselves. Yeah,
Minshew Mania.
Yeah, so they made the smart play because of course they lost Anthony Richardson, but since they have a decent backup, he's been making that push, and I do think we're going to see them in a wild card spot. Or, depending on how things fall, they may actually win the division, which is crazy to think about. All right, let's move on. Oh, no, never mind. You did pick the Jags. I thought you picked the Bucks.
Oh, I did too. I thought I picked the Bucks, but hey,
hey, guess what? Now it's actually it's all gonna work out exactly how you wanted it to. So we got the Jags taking on the Bucks, and Tyler and Gavin picked the Bucks. Everyone else went Jags. Tyler, let's hear it, buddy.
It's a Bucks home game. I think the Bucks are trying to make that playoff push, and the Jags had a very bad week against the Ravens last week. So
the Ravens.
It was the Ravens, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the Super Bowl favorites.
I'm just saying. I think the Bucks are good. So
you're insane.
Bucks are good.
You're also insane. The Bucks are not good.
The Bucks are only a 3-3 at home, by the way. It's not that they have a huge home field advantage.
It's also the NFC South, which is just kind of a mess right now. But I mean, if Baker Mayfield decides to show up, then yeah, I can see them beating the Jags here. But I don't know.
The Jags have also. I mean, to be fair, I'm still in the Jags, but the Jags have kind of been on not that great alert, like not like alert, but like they're just trending like slightly down. They're kind of like stagnant. I feel they're not like exciting.
But
they don't feel like frauds, but they do feel like pretenders.
I think
ever since
Christian Kirk being gone also hurts them a lot. If he's still out, I can't keep track if he's still out or not.
Who did you say?
Christian Kirk. Is he still out?
I think he's out for the rest of the season because they put him on IR.
Yeah.
So, Yeah. We don't need whatever happened with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, obviously a lot of things happened in that game against the Ravens, but the fumble that Trevor Lawrence had was like inexcusable. He wasn't even hit; he just fucking dropped the ball. So like he can't do things like that. And then especially the biggest thing, if you watch that Ravens game, there were so many times that the Jags were in the red zone
And
they
they had
didn't score. They had the fumble. They had they ran out the clock because somebody didn't get out of bounds. Right
They did get
before
robbed a
halftime.
touchdown though.
Yeah, so they had a lot. They had a lot of things go wrong. They did get robbed that touch. It was definitely a touchdown at the end of the game, but whatever. The refs said there wasn't clear and obvious evidence that it was actually a touchdown, so they kept it as it was called on the field. But I do think, yeah, I think this is actually a
Also,
really good matchup.
I think the Bucks are wearing their creamsicles.
Ooh.
I think.
I'm in the same thing with Matthew. We're trying to get his bowl prediction right. I still have a slight glimmer of hope, not much, but a slight glimmer of hope that my bowl prediction of the Jags going to the Super Bowl can happen. So, got to pick with them as well.
Quite a hill to climb at this point, I think. But
we already discovered it's going to be the Broncos Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, we Jason found a fake, or what was it, Jason?
It's just like one of the random groups on Facebook that Facebook recommends for you to join. And it was a post from there, and a guy was like, "This is what I think is going to happen in the playoffs," and it came down to the Broncos and Seahawks being 7 seeds and making it to the Super Bowl.
And the Seahawks win.
Yep.
I would be A-okay with that because basically it's 2013 again.
I would also be A-okay with it, even though we lose the Super Bowl. I just want to make the fucking playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We've got. This is an interesting one. We got the Cowboys taking on the Dolphins, and I know I'll have questions. Everybody went Cowboys except for me and Gavin, who went Dolphins. Of course, Gavin's going to go Dolphins because it's his own team. I initially picked the Cowboys here. I'll just say, just short and sweet, that I hope that Mike McDaniel watched a lot of tape of that Bills-Cowboys game and realizes that he's got Mostert and he's got A-Chain. And if he plays them correctly, then the Cowboys, I think they may end up adjusting to handling the run, and then that'll open up opportunities for Tyreek Hill if he plays, and Jalen Waddle, of course. So I think there is a chance the Dolphins can win this. I'm sure the Cowboys are favored, even though it's at home for the Dolphins. But I don't know. For some reason, I just felt like I'm just going to go away from the group on this one, and I'm actually going to go with the Dolphins. So that's really my only reasoning.
It is a Miami favored by 2.5.
Really?
Have either of these teams beaten a team with a winning record yet?
Yep.
The Cowboys beat the Seahawks when they had a winning record.
Mm-hmm.
And they beat the Eagles.
Yep, and they just beat the Eagles.
So I think the Dolphins, didn't they beat somebody with a winning record?
Because it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember who it was.
No, they didn't. They lost to a team without a winning record. That's what it was. The Titans.
Yeah, they still haven't beaten a team with a winning record.
Because that was the Titans game was one that, like I said, fucked me over off being a perfect Dolphin year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they still haven't beat a team that's actually that good, and the Cowboys have. So
no, I know this is not the pick I should probably make, but I just said fuck it. Some reason I just have a weird feeling that the Dolphins are gonna somehow pull this out of their ass. So.
I wouldn't be mad about it in like a non-pick standpoint. I'd much rather the Dolphins win over the Cowboys.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm banking on a 3-touchdown game by CeeDee Lamb.
Oh God. I need Dak Prescott to throw to Jalen Ramsey. That's what I need a lot. I need several interceptions to keep his score down for fantasy football.
Yeah, if we go back to earlier in this season, the actual Dolphins played the Bills as well, and they lost 48-20. So, and the Cowboys just lost to the Bills, like 10-30 something. So they both lost to the Bills. I know this, but I do this every week. It's like the comparison, and it's like it does kind of factor in a little bit. They're playing the same trio of teams where they both lost to the Bills by about the exact same amount. So, I don't know.
I think the Dolphins have a chance here because again, I think we got to respect their run game. If they can get their run game going well, and the Cowboys adjust to it, then that'll open up for their wide receivers as well. So, I think the Dolphins are better than we give them credit for. I know it's because they, like we've said, they can't beat teams with a winning record, but I still think I'm also not gonna lie. Dolphins are my number 2 team on my list, so obviously I like the Dolphins a lot. So this is probably a little bit biased.
The
Cowboys bounce back game.
The good thing for the Cowboys is that they're going to be accustomed to this kind of weather in Miami. So
Yep.
Oh my God! Oh, you
Yep.
know what? I forgot to do that. I had this big idea. I didn't have enough time, to be fair. I literally was finishing the PowerPoint this morning, but I was gonna do like a weather on each slide, like in the
For
top
last
left.
week of the season, we should do that, Steven. Weather on each slide.
We'll try to prepare for that. All right, let's move on. Unless y'all got anything else to add.
Nope.
Oh, all right. This one is very interesting. We got the Cardinals taking on the Bears, and everyone picked the Bears except for Ryan, who has always talked about the Cardinals are always better than we always say that they are.
Yeah, they are.
Because you saw them beat the Seahawks that one time, like fucking 6 years ago.
Yep.
So
That's not the reason why they're better than I think they are. They just are. I mean, since Kyler Murray has come back, they have done a lot fucking better than they would at the beginning of the year. Yeah, they're still losing games. So recently they've lost games to. Okay. Let me finish my sentence. They've lost recently to the 49ers and the Rams and the Texans and shit. But they've had a really hard schedule, honestly. Bears aren't very good.
to be fair, I was on the fence about this game, so I get where Ryan's coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the Bears after all. It is the Bears.
They beat the Steelers this year. They beat the Falcons,
and the Cowboys.
And then they have the ability to beat the Bears.
I wanted to say I'm not laughing at you picking the Cardinals. I can see the Cardinals winning this game. It was just more the fact that you're like they've been better, and it's like, well, they've lost all these games.
And they're 3-11.
Of the teams they've lost to, the only bad teams they've lost to are the Commanders and Giants. The first 2 weeks before Kyler Murray was back. Every team since Kyler Murray's been back they've lost to is a good ass fucking team. 49ers and the Texans with CJ Stroud and the Rams and Browns. These are all Ravens. These are all really
they got real close to beating the Browns though.
No, they didn't. They got blown out. But like I said, teams they've lost to have all been really good teams since Kyler Murray came back. And I think he's gonna be able to beat them because the Bears aren't a really good team.
I mean, I definitely agree with that. The Bears are not that great. Even they've been looking a little bit better.
Yeah, the Cardinals.
Yeah, but so did the Cardinals. So, I mean, because we got to remember the Bears beat the Lions the last couple weeks. I don't remember, and the Vikings. So they, those are division games.
Yeah,
almost beat the Browns. The Brown team that beat the Cardinals 27-0.
If Darnell Mooney wasn't playing fucking volleyball instead of football, they could have won that game with that Hail Mary because Mooney was right there and he fucking just pushed it down. But I don't know. I'm hoping DJ Moore has a big game for fantasy for sure. So that's what I'm counting on here.
Yeah, I also was kind of wanted, like I said, I haven't had a you were right, we were wrong scenario since the very first week you started doing that. I did early season, but you weren't doing the you were right, we were wrong things yet. So I want to get on that slide, and I feel like this was a good chance this week to do that. So, and I was right, I was by myself, which is nice.
There you go.
Because Jason had to be a Seahawks fan last week and pick the Seahawks with me. Ugh.
I mean, fuck the Seahawks.
All right, let's move on. We're into primetime games, sort of. We've got the Patriots taking on the Broncos on Sunday Night Football.
Sort of, Steven.
Why is this a sort of primetime game? It is Sunday Night Football.
Well, no, it is. This is a primetime game. When I say sort of, it's because we have a bunch of Christmas games that aren't really prime time. We still have to go through.
Okay.
Y'all just need to give me a second, okay? God damn. All right. So we got the Patriots taking on the Broncos, and this was a Broncos sweep, which I know made Jason very nervous. Let's hear it, Jason.
This is the first time this season I'm pretty sure that the Broncos have been the team that does the sweeping instead of being swept or being like one person picking them. The Patriots are injury ridden right now. They're not going to have Ramondre Stevenson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jabril Peppers, and I actually found out while we were in the middle of recording that Hunter Henry is also out.
Ooh, yeah, that's rough.
And he's their leading receiver this year. So without two receivers, basically, with a tight end and a wide receiver, an already bad offense going up against the Broncos, who have had a rebounding defense since the beginning of the season. But the only thing I worry about is if our offense is going to be able to do anything against the Patriots defense, because they've actually been decent. The last time that the Patriots played the Broncos in primetime in Denver resulted in a Broncos overtime win in the snow. So I wouldn't be opposed to something like that happening again. Be exciting. But that was also the year we won the Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure. So it's been a long time since that happened. I think the only people that the Broncos are missing is Nick Benito and Greg Dulcich. I think everybody else is back from injury. So pretty much back up to full force, thankfully. Kareem Jackson is back from his suspension, his second suspension this year.
Just in time to get suspended again.
Yeah, he's going to wind up getting another hit and be suspended for the rest of the year. And, we'll just keep playing PJ Locke, which is what I wish we would do anyway, because he doesn't get penalties. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
I mean, I don't really have much to say about this game other than Patriots stink. So, and
The Patriots are ass.
yeah,
They kept it competitive with the Chiefs though last week.
But they still lost.
They did, but they kept it competitive. So don't write them off of this game. The Broncos will find a way to keep it close.
Let's move on to our Christmas.
yeah. So Christmas games. Starting off, we got the Raiders taking on the Chiefs. Everyone went Chiefs except for Devontae Adams fan Matthew over there.
It's not that. It's the fact that the Chiefs wide receivers have sold like 4 games this season or more, really. I say all the Chiefs receivers. Kadarius Toney likes to volleyball it to the other team and make Patrick Mahomes throw interceptions. And they lose games. They only are winning the games against bad teams. The Raiders are not that bad of a team, and it's a divisional game on Christmas Day in Prime Time.
I'm gonna switch to the Raiders, by the way.
Oh,
let's go!
All right, sorry for the spoiler. All right.
Oh God, what a spoiler that one is.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Let me put it up there. So now Tyler's joining on the Raiders side.
All that the Raiders have to do is stop Rashee Rice, and they win.
Literally, two least favorite teams in the league playing each other. So I hope that both teams just explode when they go on the field.
You're just hoping for a tie, right?
No, I'm actually going for the Raiders in this game because the Broncos can still technically win the division if we win out and the Chiefs lose 2 of their last 3.
It's great because now that Tyler switched, whatever happens with the picks here, it won't really matter for our standings at all because we have the 2 bottom people together and the 2 top people together. So
yeah, this is true.
So it's basically a sweep. This is basically a sweep, but just in a different way.
No, not at all.
Not at all. I agree.
I mean,
y'all could game 1 game on the 17 or 23 y'all need to catch up to us.
I was surprised.
I mean, that's kind of like the point of it, right?
Yeah?
Like for us to pick games that y'all don't pick.
Baby steps, Ryan. Come on.
That's true.
I was surprised with how big. I think when I looked, I don't remember the exact spread, but it was a pretty big spread betting wise for this game, like towards the Chiefs.
10.5.
I really don't know why.
Yeah, that's still like that. Even though I think the Chiefs will win, I would absolutely bet on the Raiders to cover that spread. Probably, if I was.
They just come out of a 63-point outing against a divisional rival.
The
3 games.
Raiders, yeah.
Yeah, the Raiders,
3 games.
Yeah.
The 3 games on Christmas Day have pretty big spreads for all of them, honestly.
Yeah, they're not the best Christmas games. Obviously, we'll get into the next one that's also pretty rough. Shout out to Ember. Heard her growl for a second there. All right, but I don't really have much else to say about this one. But yeah, if Tyreek Hill doesn't play, Rashee Rice is going on to my fantasy. So, I've got a backup plan, I guess. Moving on, we've got the Giants taking on the Eagles, and this was an Eagles sweep. Y'all got anything to say about this one?
Got
No.
Santa with the ball sack right there.
Big ball sack.
Yeah.
He looks great. Yeah, shout out to Ryan. He helped me with the Christmas stuff for PowerPoint this week.
I'm obviously picking the Eagles for this one, but I really hope that the Giants win.
Fair enough.
The Eagles are just not a good team. I don't think they get bailed out. They get bailed out by the refs in so many different ways, and they're not. They shouldn't have even gotten to double-digit wins this year.
I
The
swear,
49ers gave everybody the blueprint.
If DeVito wins this game, they're just gonna constantly talk about him being Italian again. They're just gonna literally.
Hey, he's got a lot of trademarks in place already.
Do Italians celebrate Christmas?
I assume so. Yeah.
Yes, they do.
They I was gonna say they're gonna come up with something because it's Christmas and he's Italian. They're gonna come up with some kind of stupid slogan that they're gonna use whenever, like when it first comes on air, and they're like, "Welcome to the Giants versus the Eagles," and it'll be like something with Tommy DeVito, and then the tush push from the Eagles, just some kind of stupid slogan that's gonna piss Tommy DeVito off.
Let's get to the real game.
All right, moving on. This game, potential Super Bowl game right here. And I was surprised. That only one person picked the Ravens here. The Ravens taking on the 49ers. It was a 49ers sweep except for Matthew, who picked the Ravens. Matthew, I don't think there's anything wrong with picking the Ravens.
That's what I'm so shocked that not even one other person picked the Ravens.
Okay, so
I don't think that the 49ers are that much worse. I mean, that much better than them.
It's for me 100% because it was in Levi.
I was gonna say, if these two teams meet in the Super Bowl, I'm picking the Ravens 100%.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Neutral
I'm picking
zone,
the Ravens.
Ravens.
But it's literally the home field advantage is the only reason that I picked the 49ers.
We looked at earlier this year. Levi has the best home field advantage in the NFL stadiums. I think that's. I'm
gonna switch.
Oh shoot!
Once again, doesn't really matter.
It does matter because now it's 2 games they can gain on us.
I've been thinking about this game a lot, so that's why I changed. I wanted to change.
I've been dreaming about this game. That's how much I think about it.
Tyler dreams of Brock Purdy every night.
Yeah, this game honestly just redeems
a lot of the bad Monday Night Football games.
Yeah. I really hope this ends up being. I hope this isn't a letdown of a game. I really hope this is like a really good game.
I think that this game comes down to how Lamar Jackson plays, and if he plays bad, they have no chance in hell to win.
Yeah,
I think that this game comes down to the Ravens' defense. They've got to stop Christian McCaffrey.
And all the other weapons that the 49ers have. They got
it
Devo and IU.
It starts with McCaffrey, though. Like, you lost the first thing you have to shut down.
I do think they'll probably... I think the 49ers will be relying on other weapons besides CMC for this game. I think, because I think the Ravens are going to try to lock down CMC as much as possible. But, again, the 49ers...
Get pressure on Purdy. Like, if you can get Purdy, he's gonna throw picks against the Ravens defense. Their defense is too good to not get at least one turnover in this game.
I don't know. This is also the thing of like this was a hard game to pick for me, but I just ended up going with the 49ers for the same thing Ryan said, that it just came down to the home field advantage. Now, y'all are saying if it was the Super Bowl, and of course they're going to be in a neutral site or whatever, y'all pick the Ravens. I don't know about that. I'd still have to decide when it comes up.
I pick the Ravens because once again, fuck the 49ers. I hate them. But I'm not going to pick against them at home right now.
Yeah. All right. Y'all ready to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all.
All right, that was Monday Night Football, and of course, still on Christmas. Now we've got our Thursday Night Football game for next week that we need to cover. We got the Jets taking on the Browns. This game is not going to be a good game.
No.
It's funny because literally this upcoming week's Jets game, like this current weekend, we had a Jet sweep for the Jets, and now we sweep against them literally the next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excuse me. I picked the Commanders. There was no sweep.
No, the Jets play the fucking Giants this week, don't they?
No, the
No,
Jets
no.
play the Commanders. He did pick the Commanders.
Oh,
That's
you're right. Yeah.
But regardless, yeah, this is a defense game right here. This is what it's going to come down to. Which defense gets more picks, I think.
Two of my least favorite teams to watch play.
Yeah, this is gross. This is a gross Thursday night football game.
I have nothing to say about this game, like at all.
Like these teams both are just like, besides my divisional rivals, bottom of the barrel of teams I like. So
I gotta say, poor Amazon Prime for not getting any good games this year. They really haven't had. I mean, maybe they had one or two, but they mostly have had just bad games this year.
The Saints-Rams game was pretty good.
And I think this week was a good one. Well, it didn't start that way. The Rams had a big lead to start off with, and the Saints managed to come back. But I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad Carr finally realized that he has someone other than Alvin Kamara to throw to, being Olave. It just took fucking 16 weeks. So
Seahawks Cowboys was Thursday Night Football.
that was a good game.
that was a good one. Okay, like I said, I didn't say there was none. I said like there was only a couple, like one or two.
Yeah, you're right. Though there have been only a couple.
Yeah.
Prime. I mean, I said obviously I was dreading it when it first. This not Thursday night, but I was dreading it a few weeks ago when they switched it. But they've done a decent job. Like they flexed Seahawks Eagles to Monday night, and that was a much better game than probably what would have happened. I don't remember what the original game was, but
Yeah, I think it was
Patriots Chiefs. Yeah.
Ugh, yeah. Good switch, I think. All right, but yeah, so it was a Browns sweep, duh. But that's pretty much it. That's our last slide. So let me go back to our overall. And see
It's
where we're
crazy.
at.
Like looking at 3 years ago, how many Brown sweeps we've done this year. There's been a lot of times we've swept like in Browns' favors. In the Browns' favor. Like just thinking about that 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. They had the 0-16 season not too long ago, when you really think about it.
Disaster as a fan base.
Don't end the episode just yet. Hang on a second. I just saw some more news.
We're not gonna have
While you
Jason
pull that
Garrett
up, I'll
and
just
Sims.
I'm showing the overall stats again. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're pros. We're better than the analysts, of course.
Some of us.
Some of us.
The Chiefs just ruled out Kadarius Toney and Jerick McKinnon.
Oh, the Chiefs are definitely winning
the
now.
Chiefs are gonna win.
Yeah.
They do have Pacheco back, which helps them out. I was thinking about switching, but I'm not going to.
You forgot to say Miko Hardman.
He's been on IR, Tyler.
Is the reason for the injury report for Kadarius Toney hands don't work?
Yeah, it should be.
It says Toney is out because his hips don't lie. So, that's weird. I don't know why it says
Yeah,
that.
no, that's weird. Man. Yeah, crazy. Official NFL statement right there.
Yeah, it's on ESPN if you guys want to look it up.
It really says
very-
that? Like, you're not kidding?
It
No.
Well,
says he's
it
out.
does say it does
Okay.
say hip. It does say hip.
It
Yeah,
is
he's-
his hip.
Okay, the
obviously
hips
kidding.
don't lie part. I was about to say, there's no way they put that on an ESPN official statement. All right. Well, that's it, y'all. You ready to call it a podcast?
Yeah.
We have been calling it a podcast.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ryan, how about you take us out, buddy?
Thanks everybody for joining us on this fun adventure of the Always Out of Market Week 16 podcast. I feel like as we go along, we've had more and more arguments every single week. We're just don't worry though, we all love each other at the end of the day. We're all big old family here.
I fucking hate all of you.
But yeah, everybody wish us luck, us Seahawks and Titans fans, when we go in person. Once again, come to this game, stare at us. That's it though, just stare at us.
Good luck, Ryan.
Steven will post her pictures, shirtless if you ask. But yeah. A little preview there. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'd love you to follow us. We appreciate all you fans out there sticking with us through our ups and downs and our sadness and triumphs and everything. And everybody, put your hands in. On podcast on 3. 1, 2, 3. Podcast.